When you think of Marvel heroes who use their brains to outwit their foes, Spider-Man is likely one of the first to come to mind. And when you think of raw power, few characters can go toe-to-toe with She-Hulk, the Jade Giantess herself. But what happens when you pit Spider-Man's wit and resourcefulness against She-Hulk's overwhelming strength? Does brains really beat brute force? Or is power the ultimate trump card? Let's break down this superhero showdown and see how it plays out. First, Spider-Man. On the surface, Peter Parker is your classic street-level hero, swinging between skyscrapers, quipping mid-battle, and getting by with quick reflexes and quicker thinking. But don't be fooled. Behind that mask is an award-winning scientist and genius inventor. Peter's intellect isn't just for homework. He's constantly analyzing, adapting, and solving problems on the fly. Whether it's designing new web formulas or figuring out how to outmaneuver tough foes like Dr. Octopus or the Green Goblin, Spider-Man fights smarter, not harder. He knows his limits and how to use his environment. When he goes up against someone stronger, he doesn't try to match them punch for punch. He uses agility, strategy, and his web shooters to control the pace of a fight. In fact, some of his most iconic victories come not from overwhelming strength, but from creative thinking, setting traps, using physics, and turning his opponent's powers against them. Now She-Hulk. Jennifer Walters got her powers quite literally from the Hulk by way of a life-saving blood transfusion from her cousin. Bruce Banner, She-Hulk, possesses incredible strength, durability, and stamina, but unlike Hulk, she retains her intelligence and personality when transformed. In everyday life, Jennifer is a formidable lawyer, but in battle, she's a powerhouse throwing cars, shrugging off explosions and bringing down opponents with sheer might. Yet She-Hulk isn't simply a force of nature. She fights with skill and tactics honed from years as both an Avenger and a solo hero. When she faces a stronger enemy, she doesn't just rely on muscle. She uses her environment and clever combat maneuvers. Compared to Hulk, she's more restrained, strategic, and, crucially, more collaborative when fighting alongside others. So, Spider-Man versus She-Hulk, brains versus brute, or is it more complicated? Let's imagine a scenario. Perhaps the two heroes are manipulated into a misunderstanding, a staple of comic book storytelling. They meet on a city rooftop. The air is tense. Spider-Man's immediate advantage, mobility and range. He can stick to walls, swing from webs, and keep his distance. She-Hulk, on the other hand, can leap great distances, and a single landed blow would end the fight instantly. Spider-Man's best move? Keep moving, set traps, and look for ways to neutralize She-Hulk's strength without getting caught. Might use his webbing to limit her movement, trip her up, or create distractions. He knows that a straight fight spells doom, so he turns the battlefield into his ally. But She-Hulk isn't just going to flail blindly. She's fast and experienced, able to read patterns and anticipate tricks. And if Spider-Man slips even for a second, she has the power to tear through his webs and take him down. Her durability means that even a clever plan needs to have real stopping power. Webbing and gadgets alone might not be enough if she's determined. But consider this. Both heroes know when to pull their punches. They're not fighting to seriously hurt each other just to win or buy time. This is where brains meet brawn on equal footing. She-Hulk's intelligence lets her adapt to Spider-Man's tactics, while Spider-Man's experience with stronger opponents gives him the patience to wait for an opening. Historically, Marvel Comics have shown that brains versus brute is rarely as black and white as it seems. Spider-Man has brought down many heavy hitters by outsmarting them. But he has also lost when brute force was simply too much, or when his plans didn't pan out. She-Hulk has overcome so-called smarter enemies by sheer persistence. But she's also been stalemated when someone found a creative way to avoid direct confrontation. The reality is that both Spider-Man and She-Hulk are far more than the archetypes they represent. Peter Parker's intellect is matched by a willingness to put himself in danger. And Jennifer Walters' power is balanced by empathy and restraint. In a clash between the two, victory might depend less on who is stronger or smarter, and more on who adapts quickest, who reads the situation best, or who refuses to give up. In the end, which wins, brains or brute? The truth is, in the Marvel Universe, the greatest heroes use a bit of both. After all, the battles that last are fought not just with fists or webs, but with heart, determination, and the willingness to see past the fight itself. And that's something both Spider-Man and She-Hulk understand all too well.